more importantly, how does it relate to today? Because it's about today. You know, what the Bible did years ago is the same thing that's happening today, and we're supposed to be putting ourselves and merging ourselves in those stories and seeing how it matters to us. Okay.
It's the difference in a homily and a sermon. That's a homily. A sermon, you take off on any day you want. It doesn't have anything to do with the readings. That's there.
But we want to apply that text to our lives. So Father will talk for a while. He might talk for a little bit. He might talk for a long time. Depends on what's going on today. And then we're going to stand again, and we're going to do our profession of faith. And profession of faith is another word for the creed. We talked about the Nicene Creed, the Apostles' Creed, so we're going to go through and we're going to recite the Nicene Creed. Again, that's our belief. We talked about it for 3 weeks. I'm not going to dive into it again. So that's the creed. And it's on page 89. And you'll see that's when a lot of Catholics will pick up their book and say, ooh, we're going to recite the creed. So we'll pull out our books and we'll read it because we might not have it memorized. That's okay. And then we go into what's called universal prayer on page 90, or prayers of the faithful. And basically that's the opportunity for, I guess, to once again pray for people. These prayers are written every week. They change. And we're going to pray for our popes and our bishops. We're going to pray for our community. We're probably going to pray for vocations. The Mass and Hope is offered by the priest for one particular intention. So in the bulletin, you'll see, the Mass this week is for the intention of, I'll say Gene Wolfe, someone who just died not too long ago. So his name will probably be mentioned in your prayers for the faithful. And after those, we always say, Lord, hear our prayers. So we'll say a prayer, and then we'll respond, Lord, hear our prayer, because we want him to know that we are aware of our needs, and we're asking him to pray also and to fulfill those needs for us. Which is an okay thing. There's always a moment of silence in there where, these aren't the only prayers that are offered, or what's one of his intentions. So we'll say, we'll pause in silence, and at that point you can offer your prayers for that week that you want to be heard. And then as a community, we offer those prayers. Okay. Don't miss the opportunity to offer. But you offered a lot for Alan. We all have things in our lives. All right, maybe for the harvest right now, these farmers, quit raining or rain more or whatever you might need. Then, so we sit down again, we're all relaxed, and we're going to do preparation of the gifts. So we believe as Catholics we should give of our time, our talent, and our treasure. So we take up a collection. That collection ideally is for the poor and for the needs of our parish. So sometimes you'll have two collections. It's not because we didn't collect enough the first time. We decided to go back around and collect it again. The second one is always for a specific need. It could be for your building project. You could be ready to build a building. It could be for like Happy Packs. It's a DePaul, Brescia community, retired priests, missionaries, the Holy Land, all kinds of second collections that you'll see out there, because we are to help support those poor people as well, and people that are in need. Okay. So we have this collection. So you have your gift bearers. You all can be gift bearers. Okay. So don't discount yourself just because, again, we're not looking. You can be gift bearers. So if you're called upon, take that opportunity to be a gift bearer. Basically, you're carrying down a cruet of wine, or a what? Flagon. A flagon? Okay. A flagon of wine or a cruet of wine. A cruet of water. So we have water and wine, the two come together to form the precious blood. You'll have a ciborium that has the host in it. We'll carry that down. And you'll have a basket, a big basket, for all your money that you're going to collect. And so you'll take those down, you'll offer them to Father. You'll bless them, put them down. And then we'll go into the preparation of gifts. Okay? A lot of times we're singing when this is going on, and we're missing a good little prayer happening. But so watch him as he's preparing these gifts. It is a good part of the Mass. When everything is prepared for them, he's preparing for our celebration.
That's one of the reasons why I like our 8 o'clock Mass. It's because you pray more of these out loud. And it's like we participate more than we do when we're singing.
Because you don't have music at 8 o'clock. That's
I go back and forth between 8 and 10 when I do that.
Yeah. Our 4 o'clock doesn't have Mass. And that's why I like daily Mass. It's like just hear it all, you participate in it all, and it's a few people, which I'm selfish, it should be a whole full church full of people, but no, everybody's participating in communion, and, it's beautiful. So anyway, okay, so we've prepared our gifts.
Might be worth noting that, actually, the whole way that this Mass is structured, we basically get from the Jewish celebration of Passover. We get virtually everything we do from our Jewish ancestors. So if you study the Passover itself changed how it was celebrated from the very first one as described in the 14th chapter of Exodus. By the time of Jesus, several hundred years later, it had changed some, but was fundamentally the same. And so what the Mass takes its basic structure from the way the Passover was celebrated in the time of Jesus. And so these prayers that sometimes you hear and sometimes you don't, blessed are you, Lord God of all creation, for through your goodness, etc. Those are patterned after specific Jewish prayers that were always said by the Father. Because the Jewish Passover was very highly structured and ritualized. And they were known as the Barakah prayers. They always said them. That's exactly where we get that part of the Mass, just as an example. But the whole thing, it's where we get it. It's where we get it all.
So then we'll have the prayer over the offering again. Those prayers are here available for you to follow. Father, just say that prayer. And this week it's going to be on page 95 for October 2nd. And then we're going to go into what's called Eucharistic prayer. And it starts on page 96. And this basically is the high point of, it's part of the high point of the Mass when we go into the Holy Holy. So it starts out, the Lord be with you. And we say, and with your spirit. Lift up your hearts. We lift our hearts up to the Lord. We're ready, we're prepared. Let us give thanks to the Lord our God. It is right and just. It's the right thing to do. It's what we're supposed to do. Okay? And then there's actually 4 different Eucharistic prayers. Priests give a pattern a lot of times, and they might use one or more often than the other. And as a child, I always kind of looked ahead, so I would listen to the first words that Father said. He said it is truly right and just. Okay, it's Eucharistic prayer number 2, and I'd flash ahead to try to keep up with him, and that way I could follow through. So you can use that little trick. Do you have a particular one that you would start off with?
I change them with seasons. In ordinary time on Sundays, we use number 3, but it was called number 3. Advent, I will use one of the ones for reconciliation, as in Lent. The Church prefers that during Christmas and Easter season we use number 1, also known as the Roman canon. There's a whole history behind these Eucharistic prayers too. I'll just throw it there real quick. For example, the Roman canon, this Eucharistic prayer 1. That prayer goes back to about the 3rd century. That's how old that thing is. Eucharistic prayer 2, which is what you hear most times at daily Mass, it closely follows the prayer of an early church martyr and priest named St. Hippolytus. So we know it goes back to probably about the 2nd century. So these things, we're praying the same prayers. All down through the century, we're basically praying the same prayers. They come from the early church. And really, of course, I know it's, you're kneeling there. This Eucharistic prayer is a little bit lengthy, and being the human beings we are, our mind one. But even if it's intensive, catch what the words of the thing actually are. Wow, man, those things loaded. They are absolutely loaded. What is being said.
And that's why, again, I'm showing you kind of where this is in the book. If you're a person that wants